Welcome everybody here with undefeated super featherweight title contender Erik Bazinyan, 25-0, 19 knockouts. You were born in Armenia. Now you're fighting out of Canada. Talk to me about how you're dealing with this pandemic, COVID-19, up there in Canada.
Well, it's been like 2 months we were home, and it was very hard, mental and physical too, because we have a gym in my building, but which was closed too, and it was cold in Canada. It started to be nice weather. It's been like 2-3 weeks. We started running, training, but it was tough. It was tough times. But I'm happy that I'm back on track, back on trainings, and hopefully to defeat this virus.
Yeah, definitely. We could go ahead and get past this pandemic as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Well, you made it no secret. You're 25-0, 19 knockouts. You're making a big name for yourself. You're obviously a contender at the super middleweight division. I believe you're already ranked within the WBO rankings. Have you gotten any word from Golden Boy when you can return back in action? I know you fought a couple times in the U.S., and I would imagine that's the goal moving forward.
Well, my manager, we have like the company here. I have Tiger Management in Canada. Like they're gonna do a show in July, hopefully. But I won't be able to fight because the Canadian fighters, they're gonna fight each other. Like guys from another city, like from Toronto to Montreal versus. So it's gonna be tough for me because in my position, I'm ready to start doing big fights. And in Canada, on my weight for now, like there is not any fighter who's gonna bring me up a level, and which we are not interested. So hopefully, I had a talk with my manager. Hopefully in September, because there is no news from Golden Boy about their next show, because of I guess dozen TV. Like they have to decide when they're gonna start the shows because Canelo's supposed to do the last fight in May. So that was the biggest show, and which got cancelled. And I don't think it's the right time now to know because they have to decide and announce first. So hopefully we are looking to September, hopefully in USA. One
Yeah.
of good shows.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of questions, especially within Golden Boy at the zone. Obviously, like you mentioned, Canelo, how to get his fight postponed against someone who I would imagine is also a target for you, which would have been Billy Joe Saunders. Is that the number one target for you, knowing that you're ranked at the WBO? Is that the guy that you're gunning for in a sense?
Well, I was number one in WBO, and I had the elimination bout. I was offered, but I in last May I did a fight in Vegas, and I broke my finger, so it wasn't a great timing to fight a fight like that. So now that's why we went back to number four. And my one before in California on DAZN when I had the knockout, they said um, I was a contender for Saunders, and which was the fight that I wanted, and I said I'm ready for him. But I'm still 25 years old. I feel I'm ready. It's my peak time starts now, but we are like if it's a good offer, good timing. My team, I trust them. My team, but first of all, I have to trust myself, like to feel confident to fight for the world title. But we are very very close. So hopefully, gonna do a big fight in September. Another two fights or one more fight, then a fight for the world title.
Yeah,
But the Saunders Canelo winner wins, and I'm the contender. So we'll see.
yeah, you're definitely close to a world title possibility. Hopefully, we get to see that opportunity for you in the
Yeah.
coming months. I know, obviously, you live in Canada now, but you were born in Armenia. If you could just talk to me a little bit about your past. When did you move to Canada,
Yeah.
and how did you get into boxing? I believe you got into boxing when you were 14 years old. Is that correct?
Well, I started boxing when I was 13 and end of 12. So I won nationals. I had like over 80 fights in Armenia. Then I moved to Canada when I was 16 with my family to live with my brother, my parents, and for me and my brother's futures, for the future to move to Canada. We have a lot of family friends here. So we moved here. I won the Golden Gloves, then I won the Nationals, and I had the skills. I was sparring with pro fighters, and I was doing good with them. And in that time, I think Olympics was still far, and so that year, so we decided I was fighting with the Golden Gloves, the same guys again in my weight category. So it was kind of boring, and me and my coach, we decided. And I've been always a person who likes new things in my life. So I decided to turn professional to try it, which I never imagined myself in a professional. Like I always was thinking I wasn't even gonna be amateur when I just started boxing. So I looked up to Arthur Abraham, Vic Darchinyan, the Armenian fighters, which motivated me. But then I just decided, I said, you know what, I have the skills, and everybody was looking forward to see me in pros. I was a young fighter, a promising fighter in Canada. So they trusted in my skills and talents. So I turned pro in 2013, which was 7 years ago, and it went pretty well. I had a lot of experienced fights. In the beginning, it was hard a bit. Not hard, but hard in a way of adapting professional, like becoming professional. It took time, which a lot of fighters now, they don't realize that they get like 7-0, 8-0, 10-0, like knockout. They knock the guys out in one round. They think, oh, they are a star, or somebody world champion. But no, it took me a lot of time. I was like 12-0 or something. I won my, or 14-0, I don't remember. So I won my first title. It was youth title, like it was youth world title, WBO, which was my first title and my first 10-round fight. After that fight, I realized, oh, you know what? I'm mature now. Like I have a bit of experience in professional. It's tough boxing
Yeah, it's
because
definitely.
I got here, I was bleeding, but I didn't stress during the fight, which I was happy on myself, my coaches, because a lot of fighters, they get stressed when they get their first cut, they bleed, and my opponent was very strong guy. It went distance, 10 rounds, and I won my first title, but I won in a humble way, so I didn't even jump around or something. Sometimes the first titles, everybody, it's normal, it's emotional, but yeah, it humbled me down, like, and I was more like thinking that I have to take my time, and there's a lot to learn in professional game.
Yeah, definitely. Those hundred, I think over 100 amateur fights obviously played a role into giving you
Yes,
that
yes,
confidence and be able to survive in, especially with the cut
yes,
to that
yes,
magnitude at such a young age. You mentioned
yes.
obviously the Armenian people, Darchinian and Arthur Abraham. When every time we see an Armenian fighter, we always see this Armenian. They're into the fights. They always support their fighter. What does it mean for you to have the support from the Armenian community and also the Canadian community that support
Yeah.
you and want to see you become a world champion?
It means a lot. Like in Canada, here in Montreal, I'm pretty known in not only in Armenian like community, but Armenian made a big role in my career because I was new here and people started knowing me with my boxing and everything. So a lot of Armenian community here, not like in LA. You live in LA?
Yeah, I live in LA. Yeah.
Okay. So not like there, because there is millions of Armenians, but
Yeah,
still,
definitely.
people here, they started when I turned pro. They started supporting me. A lot of them, they were coming to my fights, like screaming, and it was good vibe, good energy. It was giving me during the fight, and it meant a lot, And because I wasn't feeling alone in the ring, even if you are alone in the ring, gives you a lot of energy when people are supporting you next to you. They're ready to jump in the ring. But so it was great. Then my last two fights one in Vegas, one in LA. Still, I have a lot of friends in LA that I know them, like family friends. Even there was people that I didn't even know they were coming to my fight, and they just show up. Like there was a lot of people showed up on my fight that I didn't even know. It was even my first debut in United States, which I
Yeah.
was happy. And slowly, it's gonna be more and more, which I'm proud and thankful.
Yeah, it's always great to see. Like you mentioned, they always bring a lot of energy they come out and support, whether you're fighting a 4-round fight or a world title fight.
Yes.
We've seen that here in LA. There's with the local Golden Boy fighters that are
Yes.
Armenian descent. They always support and show a lot of enthusiasm during the fights. Now, you mentioned obviously when you get that vibe from the crowd, there's a possibility that the next fight, maybe the one with Eyes of the Tiger, that you might be fighting with no fans. Have you considered that, and are you willing to fight with no fans if it comes to that point?
Yes, of course, because yeah, all over the world is like that. Like we see already UFC is doing shows like that, and what you can do, it's your career. Like you can't say no to that, to not to get a payday or not to stay active to do fights, which a year is gonna pass without fighting. It's not good because you need those reactions, everything, to stay active and keep your fans. It's like that. It's all over the world. It's not your mistake. So it's gonna be for sure different. It's gonna feel like it's sparring, but no crowd. But it's okay. At least your fans will watch live on TV, and they're gonna be proud, and I'm gonna grow at the same time too.
Correct. Well, I'm glad to hear that. You definitely want to go ahead and continue your boxing career, and even with no fans. Obviously, we still don't know exactly when fans could come to the arena, but obviously, you're now a part of Golden Boy Promotions. If you could just walk me through how did that evolve, and were you happy when that came into about? And obviously, Golden Boy, it's part of Oscar De La Hoya. Did you growing up? Did you see any of his fights? And were you into the style that he brought to the table?
Yes, of course. When I was young, when I was in Armenian, I used to always, like when I was 13, 14, I used to watch like great. I didn't know much about boxing then from Big Darchi and Arthur Abraham and let's say Muhammad Ali and Mike. I didn't know anybody from them, like after them, besides them. So when I started boxing, I started like watching, on YouTube, find out new fighters. I had never even know who was Manny Pacquiao. So I started watching on YouTube Floyd Mayweather, then Hopkins, De La Hoya, all the like known fighters, Andre Ward. So, but I liked from them like I don't know why Hopkins it clicked me because I liked that he was older from all of them, and he was like he knew little tricks, like little dirty stuff, how to handle the fight, how to hold, which a lot of fighters even nowadays they don't know how to clinch a guy when they are hurt or how to do these little moves. So I liked Hopkins a lot. He was my idol. I liked Oscar De La Hoya because he was very popular and he was young, like he was good looking, and all the like USA was supporting him, and he had a style, he was very fast hands. And I liked also Pacquiao too, I never just one guy, but once I saw coming to the point. So when I came to when my manager, I have Tiger Management, they signed with Golden Boy. I signed with them a year ago, so I was very happy because one day I met like I think it was like 8 years ago. I wasn't even pro yet. There was a show, I think Jean Pascal here in Montreal was fighting Hopkins. So after that, Hopkins came back for another show. I don't even remember which. He was commentating on HBO. So I went up to him like, hey, can I take a picture with you? So I still have the picture I took with him. I'm like, I hope one day in the professional ring, I hope you will see me. And it was like a dream. And then signing with them, and they are the president of the company. And I go to the fight, and he comes ask me questions like that he's gonna commentate my fight, which
Wow.
like it was like a dream come true.
Yeah.
So because not a dream, but like it's like something that as a kid I didn't believe in myself that I will be one of them, and now like I'm fighting, I'm becoming a star, and I'm becoming one of them, and which was I wasn't believing in me when I was young.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it was different. It was an emotional thing.
yeah, it's definitely crazy when you put it in that perspective. Obviously, going up and getting the picture with B Hop and now being part of Golden
Yes.
Boy Promotions and working with them. Obviously, all your hard
Yes.
work and dedication has gotten you this far. You definitely deserve that. Like we mentioned earlier, the goal for any fighter is to become a world champion. What would it mean for you personally to become a world champion, knowing that you came from Armenia, you in a sense half Armenian, half Canadian? What would it mean for you and your family? What kind of a difference would it make for your life?
Mm. Well, like all the fighters, their dream is to become a world champion. It's normal and it's everybody's dream. But me personally, like that's my that's when I'm gonna say, oh, I accomplished something like in boxing. Still, I accomplished now, like from a regular person to me, like person, I mean, like person that they don't know him. When you die, they're gonna say, oh, he made us proud. All the Armenians, they are proud on me, of me. I have a lot of fan base. Like they always gonna remember me. That's why I'm happy, because I'm somebody that I did something good for my country. I represented the flags. Everybody know me. They are happy for me. They support me wherever they sit and they stand up. They give my name that they know me, or this guy in Canada, wow, this and that. But when I become a champion, then I'm gonna say I accomplished something in my life, and my like I'm done. Done. I mean, like I did my history. I had a goal and I did it. Then whatever future is gonna come, I'm gonna defend 20 times or what my belt. We'll see. Like that's more of a like it's gonna be the hard work and discipline and everything. But my goal is to become a champion, and it's gonna make a big difference and for my future, for the life, like and financially and as a that I something I did it, for my family, for me, because I'm risking my life every time I step in the ring, since everybody they know it's a dangerous sport. We see a lot of accidents, and I have a boy. He's 2 years old. I'm married, and I'm risking. I would rather not to have that, but if I chose this, I'm good in this, and I can make a living out of it, and I can make a good living for the future for my family, so they don't have to worry about nothing. So it's my goal and my dream to become a champion.
Yeah, correct. Well, congratulations on obviously getting married and having your 2-year-old.
Thank
It's
you, thank
obviously
you.
it's an accomplishment in life to be a father. So, and that's I applaud you for that. When you look at the super middleweight division, it's stacked with talents. One of those divisions in boxing that has so much, right now, stars in a sense. When you look at Caleb Plant, you look at Benavidez, you look obviously at Joe Saunders and Callum Smith, and also Canelo, who has a secondary title from the WBA. Right now, who do you think is obviously aside from you? Who do you think is the best fighter out of that group after you?
Uh, for me, I also had this question. I had another interview before you. So on my top five, it's number one. It's Canelo Alvarez, because he fought almost all the best fighters for the divisions, and he fought Mayweather. He fought great fighters, and he beat them. And he has the experience. He has the power. He's the number one for me. Number two, it's he's not that popular, I think, from the others, like Callum Smith, who, because he's tall, he's strong, he has long arms, good job. I think he's gonna be. They don't give him too much of a credit, but I think he's gonna be very hard to box against with, because he's tall and he's very strong kid, and he uses his jab, straight punches. Second spot is gonna be him for me. Third one is gonna be Benavidez, because he's like a young bully. He comes forward always. He throws punches. He's very fast and explosive. Number four, I put number four. I'll put Saunders. Then number five, I'll put Caleb Plant. But all the five of them, they are like they have their own styles, and I think any of them they fight each other. Any of them, like, is gonna be a great fight, because the one guy is slick, one guy is technical, one guy is a dancer, one guy is strong, one guy is full fighter. For me, the full accomplished fighter from them is Canelo, which I consider myself like that too, because I don't concentrate only on one thing during my trainings and everything, and that's my style. Try to fight smart, technical, and I can brawl too. I have good punching power, but I concentrate on more on that, and I believe in that more because you need to be like fully accomplished fighter to keep up like a long career, you know. Like you need to know how to brawl, you need to know how to jab, how to everything, you know. And which only Canelo for me has all of it.
Yeah, and we
And
definitely see you. We definitely see you on the mix with all those guys, and hopefully we
I
get to
hope
see.
very soon.
Hopefully we get to see those matchups, and obviously you in
Yes.
between that. Another fighter who I wanted to ask you came out of Canada right now. He moved to super middleweight. Obviously, also with Idol the Tiger, that's David Lemieux. Are you friends with David Lemieux? And if you know the possibility presented itself, would you be willing to face David Lemieux given the situation?
He's a friend of mine. I don't think we're gonna ever face each other because we have the same coach, we have the same manager, we have the same promoter. We have like the same career, you know, like
Yeah,
the team, same team, like and in USA and here. So I don't think it's happening. But he's a great fighter. We did a lot of sparrings together because we have a big team now, like a lot of fighters like Beterbiev, Alvarez, everybody. Like Elliot, you know, Elliot Alvarez, he's from
yeah,
our team too. So, and there's a lot of talented up and coming Russian, Kazakh fighters, like young guys. We roll each other with each other during the sparrings. Like it's great trainings we do. Like everybody's experienced, everybody give their like experience to each other, you know. So David is a great fighter. He's a friend of mine. He's a very hard-working guy, and I think he has a lot of chances to become a champion again. And
yeah.
I hope the best for him.
Definitely. Well, you have a stacked gym. Obviously, with Terviev, it's a talented 175 champion, and Alvarez as well. We've seen him in many wars, and he's also a great talent. So definitely, nobody wants to break into that gym and cause any trouble. Because
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
it's very packed gym. So we are not too many. We're like 15 guys, but like the I all of them they're gonna be a champion or they've been a champion. Like it's very serious work we do now.
yeah,
Like a lab.
definitely. Well, we look forward to seeing you back in action. Lastly, if you can have a message, obviously we see you rocking the Muhammad Ali sweater. It's an
Yes,
awesome sweater. Like, where did you buy that?
it's a gift.
It's a
They
gift.
buy it
Okay.
online. Yeah.
Nice, nice. It definitely, it looks pretty well. But lastly,
Thank
if you could send a message to the Armenian fans, the Mexican fans, the Canadian, the Americans, every boxing fan in the world, why they should tune in, why they got to support you, and hopefully we see you in action pretty soon.
Yeah, I would like to thank everybody, all the Armenians, all the other, it doesn't matter which nationality fans I have, or people are looking for out for me. Like, I wish them all to be safe and healthy during this virus, and hope nobody catch. So whoever catch, let them to get healthier after it, and hopefully I will. I'm telling you that I'm working very hard, and I'm gonna. I'm gonna fight very soon, maybe in September in USA, and I'm sure that well, I'm not gonna let anybody down, and hopefully soon gonna fight for the world title too. And thanks everybody who is supporting me and who will support me.
Eric,
And thank you for having me for the interview. I really appreciate that.
no, thank you for your time. I know it's difficult during the situation to do it via the internet, but thank you so much for taking the time. We wish you the best of luck, and we look forward to seeing you become a world champion in the near future.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Eric.
Take
Have a good one. See you.
care. Bye.